This is Glad Magnus in his IS-7 together with his platoon mate Falinas in 5A. But sorry guys, you are awesome, but today's video is not going to be about you. It is going to be about this tank, Kampfpanzer 07PE, the new tier 10 German heavy tank what Wargaming is testing on the live server right now, and what so many of you guys have been spotting on the battlefield and sharing some replay action with me. So today it is time to put on our stalking pants and let's pick up the binoculars, because I have actually some gameplay, you know, third person stalking mode gameplay showcasing this tank, which many are already saying or calling this tank a wannabe Chieftain or a Chieftain competitor, which well, we are going to talk about that in a second as well, but it has some obvious weaknesses what Chieftain does not have. For example, with 410 alpha damage, which is very weird alpha damage number, that actually makes me ask a question: do we have any other tanks in this game with this type of alpha damage? I don't think so. At least I cannot think about any from the top of my head. You let me know guys in the comment section, do we have any other 410 alpha damage tanks? But this Kampfpanzer 07 is going down through the hand of artillery. Well, overall this battle was very sad for the enemy team. As you can see, 11,000 HP lead in the first 2.5 minutes. We cannot base any opinions on the tank in a battle like that. Absolutely everything would have been wrecked over here as well. But luckily guys, I have more replays for you featuring this tank, like the next one from Han, who was playing with a D30, casually enjoying it until he spotted Kampfpanzer 07. Once again, thank you for sharing this replay, and let's continue watching what this Kampfpanzer is able to do. And we are going to see a little Kampfpanzer versus T95 Chieftain fight in this battle, which is going to be a bit awkward guys. Well, what I mean by that, just stay tuned and you are going to see that soon. And now, it has 2,700 DPM right from the gate, out from the gate, with 410 alpha, 260 penetration with standard APCR. Heat is actually the premium round with 320 penetration. So not the highest heat penetration, definitely not the highest. It is going to struggle versus some tanks for sure. 410 alpha damage and 9.11 second reload. Stock reload. Now, gun handling is actually, on paper, seems to be pretty damn nice. 1.92 second aiming time, 0.32 dispersion, so depends on the maps, equipment units you're using, you know, for different maps you can get it under 0.30 even. So German accuracy is being shown on this heavy tank for sure. Dispersion factors are like... it's like it needs to be slightly better to play this tank without stabilizer, but I think a stabilizer might be needed over here. You know, if it ever comes out, I would like to test it out without stabilizer as well. But the 0.15 dispersion factors on moving and tank traverse and 0.10 on turret traverse, you know, this is on the very borderline. For example, you know, Kong has a lot better, S-Kong has a lot better dispersion factor, 0.12, or E5 0.14, and I actually free marked E5 with 0.14 dispersion and without stabilizer. So 0.15 might be enough, but you know, it might not be enough. A very good shell velocity, 1,334 meters per second shell velocity. What is the heat? 960. Heat has actually quite a poor shell velocity. So firepower definitely seems to be aimed towards accuracy. DPM, you know, DPM is like, let's say roughly like Chieftain, slightly worse than S-Kong. I'm going to compare those tanks as well. But where this tank shines compared to some other vehicles, which this tank most likely is going to or trying to compete with, is the top speed. It has 50 top speed, not bad. 15 moving backwards, 960 horsepower engine with close to 17 power to weight ratio. But I see many people using turbo on it, so up to 56 top speed with Pon turbo, I can definitely see this happening over here. And gun depression, -8 degrees of gun depression, so it doesn't have the -10 what the S-Kong or the Chieftain has, but it has the -8 like on E5 for example. Now, this is firepower and mobility, but where this tank, you know, so far pretty similar to the Chieftain, let's put it that way. But where it actually differs quite a bit from Chieftain is the armory. And for that, guys, let's take a look at the 3D armor profile. And of course, as always, we have to keep in mind that everything is subject to change, especially when we're talking about a tank like this, which is under Supertest. But we can get quite a clear idea what Wargaming is thinking about doing with it, or what type of direction this vehicle is heading. You know, mainly when we're talking about the vehicle specs. But talking about the 3D armor model right over here versus 260 APCR round, for example. And if you didn't see that already, this tank actually has a shovel as well, which has a lot of spaced armor. So you can see that the hull behind it is green, right? The hull coloring is green under angle like that, but because of this spaced armor, it is going to equal a bounce right over here and bounce right over there as well, with having 283 millimeters of effective armor. So this shovel is actually coming into effect over here with its spaced armor values, and it has some spots where it has more spaced armor, like in the middle, for example. All those little bolts and nuts, whatever those are over there, are adding some more. But you know, when we are comparing this tank to the Chieftain, for example, let's put the maximum -8 degrees of gun depression. Let's say it is looking at you like this. You have a little weak spot right over there to shoot, which is going to be automatic penetration. So this weak spot right now definitely is way bigger than the Chieftain's weak spot, I would say so. And also, under the gun mantlet, you can see some areas which might be a penetrations, like it's very weirdly layered over there. You have some stronger parts mixed up with some green parts, as you can see. But on a flat ground, let's say if this tank is not directly using its maximum gun depression, there is also this area, and versus higher penetration, you can see a lot more green right now. So this is definitely where this tank is a little bit different to the Chieftain lookalikes. And also the roof over there, 45 millimeters. So this is 45 millimeters as well. So if you have a massive caliber, 135 plus millimeter caliber, 140, 150, you can definitely look aiming go over there as well on the top of the roof with your gun. So side scraping wise, let's see, it can do some, but then you're revealing that, which has 30 millimeters and is easily penetrable with high explosive. Even the top of the engine deck right over there, like on Minotauro, Minotauro, yes, the tier 10 Italian tank destroyer, just like on that guy over there. So it has some similarities to the main competitors, I guess, basing it simply on the vehicle class, you know, heavy tank with 400 alpha damage, with that type of DPM. I guess this is the ally what this tank is aiming to fight against, you know, the Dezrng's, Chieftains, E5s. But it has obvious weak spots, and you know, this is good for the game, guys. As long as we would have all the tanks built like that have actual weak spots as well, that would be absolutely fantastic. But we have some tanks which do not have those, or have very little of those. And a couple more shots left in this game, and this is this battle, for example. And just to give you a bit better angles on how this vehicle looks like with the shovel in the front and everything, I gotta say, it looks pretty cool. It feels to be on the lower profile side of a heavy tank, not super high, you know, nothing is sticking out very, very tall, very high, so it has some very sneaky positions where you could use it, where you could play with it. And yeah, overall it has pretty nice look to it. How do you feel about that, guys? Do you like how this vehicle looks like or not? And now, when we are comparing it to the Chieftain, to the Dezrng E5, what can we see? You can see that it has in the middle penetration, slightly less than on Chieftain, but a little bit more than on Dezrng, and E5 DPM is 2700, slightly better than on Chieftain, slightly worse than on E5. Then what can we see? Shell velocity, by far the best velocity, standard shell velocity. This is actually very juicy. 45 shells as well. Gun handling wise, identical to the Dezrng, at least when it comes to the aiming time and dispersion. And we all know how good the Dezrng's gun is, right? But Dezrng has something over this tank, and this is the the dispersion, the hidden dispersion on moving, on tank traverse, on turret traverse. Dezrng has absolutely nuts. You can easily play Dezrng without having to worry about the stabilizer. You don't need to carry that. But, you know, just slightly worse than on Chieftain and E5. But overall, you know, I would say still pretty good. Comparing to mobility, as I said, it has the upper hand with 50 top speed. And it can actually achieve that speed as well. So definitely having the upper hand over there. Roughly the same power to weight ratio. You know, only Dezrng has by far the worst, 13.77 right over here. Base armor value 160 hull armor, 190 turret armor. But we have some angles over there, like Chieftain. You know, this is where this tank is absolutely nuts with the turret armor. It doesn't have too many weak spots in the front of the turret, and a very tiny commander hatch as well. Base health 2300, bang on in the middle, 100 more than on Chieftain and D5, 100 less than on Dezrng, for example. And it has more engine health, track health, and ammo rack health as well. Maybe he's helping you out. Camo, nobody really cares about that, and 410 meters view range. So far what we can say about this vehicle, it seems to be pretty solid. It actually has a weak spot on the top of the turret as well. You know, lower plate is going to be quite easily penetrable. It has the shovel in the front, which actually works as well. Gun seems to be nice, 410 weird alpha damage, and that M60 just bounced the shot over here, but is Kampfpanzer able to pick up that kill? Let's see. Boom! Just like that. Yes, Kampfpanzer was able to pick up a kill, the kill over here. Now, I actually do have a couple other replays, but some of them, you know, the tank was a bit too far from the hero who was actually playing the battle, and the replay was quite choppy. So if you are sharing replay like choppy like this, you can see if the hero is a bit too far, it can be a bit iffy. But guys, very early stalking look at the Kampfpanzer 07 PE. What do you think about that? Where do you think they are going to put this tank in the first place? Like, where do we have a place for this tank? We just received new Clan Wars reward tank, so it is unlikely. It is always possible this is going to be a Clan Wars reward, but it is unlikely. Assembly shop, personal missions, some kind of maybe onslaught, brand new onslaught reward tank, because it is a tier 10. It is a tier 10 heavy tank. I don't know, like, what do you guys think? Anyway, let me know in the comment section how does it look like while this EBR is doing some very goofy things, ramming the hero in this battle who was playing with Hori, and Kampfpanzer is going to be destroyed because enemy team is coming in from the base side, and also the other side was covered, so unlucky. But guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below, because I am done with today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I catch you next time with something else. Stay beautiful, stay awesome, enjoy this sunny weather. Take care and bye.